Hi there, so welcome to your feedback for week 3, assignment 3 for Benjamin, Kristi, Stephanie, and Danielle. So Benjamin, let's start with yours. Really great work. I think that there's a strong understanding of high and low contrast in color value and saturation, hue value and saturation. Both of your harmonies are correct, both of your palettes are correct. We have a high amount of contrast in the focal area of each design. So all in all, I think it's a really great job. I would just encourage you to continue to play around with this sort of stained glass look that you have. I think it's working very well. It's a very unique resolution to this project, so just kind of keep playing around with this style of design. I think that it's working very well for you. Kristi, let's take a look at yours. So complementary, split complementary harmonies are correct. Palettes look good. Just make sure to use a color in the background that's an obvious tint tone or shade, so staying away from white, gray, or black, and sticking to the area of your palette, the 12 colors of your palette that are obvious, that the hue is obvious. And then thinking about how to create a focal point in your composition. So you want to use contrast to your advantage in establishing a focal point. Decide what shape you want the viewer to pay attention to. My suggestion is it's one of the areas in the center of the composition, and use the highest amount of contrast in that area. So the brightest color in comparison to the most saturated color, the lightest color in comparison to the darkest color. So really using high contrast in its broadest sense in the focal point, and then allowing the all other areas of the design to be lower in contrast so that you're really enhancing that focal point. Stephanie, what we have here is color patterning. We do have high and low contrast. I'd like to see more of the dark values in your design. We don't have the real dark values from your palette in the composition, so make sure to put those in there. And then thinking about color patterning. So maybe so let's think about each circle or each sort of section that's repeated as being the motif, and the repetition of a motif equals a pattern. And so maybe every other motif should be a different arrangement of these colors so that we have color patterning. I can imagine this one here, and then the two on the outside, and then the middle one, and then the two on the outside, being a different sequence of colors so that you're really enhancing this idea of repetition of color as well as repetition of shape. Danielle, so really great job. We have correct harmony for complementary and correct harmony for split complementary. Palettes look good. I would recommend using a circle or some sort of oval in the background so that we have rounded shapes in comparison to angular shapes. Right now we have points on both the objects in the background and the foreground. So thinking about using rounded shapes in the background and angular shapes in the foreground will bring in an even stronger sense of shape contrast to your design.